Okay, I'm going to give you a run through of this. It's like a sales page. It's written to the standard of a sales page. It's actually for a free webinar. When you're selling a free thing, you don't usually need to put as much effort in as you would for a paid thing. When you're asking people to show up to a masterclass, especially a live one, because you're asking for such a high commitment from them, you do need to put a lot more effort into it than you would for, say, like downloading a PDF. And so this kind of sales page structure works really well. And also you're like selling on two fronts, because you're not only getting them to click on this button and commit and give you their email address and say, yes, I want to come to the webinar, but you're trying to get them to commit to actually showing up for it as well. So this page has put a lot of effort into getting people to show up for this masterclass. And it's a really good example of selling something even though it's free. So what I'm going to do in this video is take you through and just point out all of the little sections of the page that makes the page strong. I've written them up in the post as well, so you can see what it is that you're looking out for. If you haven't already, you could just open pause the video and then open the PDF that's a screenshot of the web page and see for yourself how many things you can spot before you watch the video, or you can just sit and watch me and I'll take you through it, and I'll point out as many things as I can see. But I'll probably even miss some. So if you spot something and you think, oh, that's a really great persuasion technique or a really convincing sales technique, and I haven't mentioned it, that's not because you're wrong. It's just that I've missed it. So right from the top, this is what you see on a desktop. I'm not sure what it looks like on mobile. But what I really love about the start of this page is that here it straight away gives you what it's called, what it is, and the benefit it's going to bring you, and what the action is that you need to take. So if you only see the top half of the page, there's a chance you're just going to click and you'll be straight in anyway. But also what's really important about this opening section that tells you that it's a free masterclass is it frames it, gives you some kind of context so you know what the rest of the page is talking about, especially as you come further down, because it's structured like a sales page. You might be starting to think like, come on, tell me what it is. How much is it going to cost me if we didn't have this information at the top? So it's really helps create some kind of framework to make it easier for the reader to understand what it is that we're talking about. Also, what I love about this is it's very specific. So it tells you what it is. So it's a masterclass. So you have an idea in your head of what that's going to look like. And even down to like this specificity, I really struggle with that word, but the specificity of telling you that it's 5 steps. So anytime you can really be very specific about what it is that you're talking about, it makes it sound more credible. It makes it more real. It's anything you can do to make the thing that you're talking about that your reader can't see or hear or taste or touch. Anytime you can add that little bit of detail helps make it more concrete for them, and it helps get their buy-in. So further down the page, we start talking about like this is the situation that they're in right now. And you'll see here that I would say that this line here, secretly sweating that this contract is the last you'll ever get, taps into our fear of loss. So we're fearful of losing what we have already and we value, which is like the income into our business. This one here, watching those other entrepreneurs and wishing you could hit it big too, is tapping into maybe our sense of wanting to win, but also our sense of self-expression or even belonging community. Like we want to see ourselves as part of that successful community, but we're not in it right now. And wondering if it might be time to look for a 9-to-5 also taps into a sense of loss. So that's the loss of the freedom that you have when you're self-employed, and also kind of our feeling of who we are. So that's self-expression. That's like we identify with being self-employed, and having to look for a 9-to-5 job feels painful because that's not who we are. That's not how we identify. Then there's more of a description here of what you're going to get inside the masterclass. So this is quite a lot of work has gone into it, considering it's a free 1-hour class. It's much more like a sales page where you would split out what the features are, but look at how the features are all worded as well. So each one of these has an element of curiosity in them. So the sold out solution gives you the 3 mistakes you're making right now that are draining your business, and the fixes are super simple. So as soon as you read that, you think, oh, like I need to know what those 3 mistakes are. What if I'm making them? The 3-part formula to creating an irresistible can't say no offer. Oh, well, there's only 3 parts to it, so it can't be that hard to learn. That sounds realistic, that sounds actionable, but also now I know that there's this magical formula that I could use to create an irresistible if I need to know what it is. How to build know, like, and trust so your dream clients can't imagine working with anyone else. That's less specific, but I love that Ruth's attached a positive outcome to it. So it's not just, we kind of assume that everyone knows that you need to build know, like, and trust, but instead of just leaving it at that, she's gone one step extra and reminded people why that's important. And my own personal scaling strategy that pulls in clients on autopilot and makes money while you sleep. So stuff that everybody wants, but see how Ruth has made this kind of unique and specific to her by talking about her own scaling strategy. If it was just the promise of how to pull in clients on autopilot and make money while you sleep, probably a few of us have seen that promised in other places and we think, yeah, I've heard all the theories before, but this makes it extra interesting because it's Ruth's take on it. The sold out solution is a straightforward method to transform your business from broke to booked. So it's another reminder of what it is that we're talking about. What is this broad promise? And then there's a section here that introduces Ruth, and it's a lovely balance between like being relatable, her as a person, but also like adding in her credibility there as to so that you know that she's the right person to be teaching you this. And then another reminder of what it is, some sort of challenge of like overcoming a resistance here. So the sold out solution isn't another buy this software system or complicated theory. So she's challenging that kind of resistance that you might have already seen these kind of things promised before. And she's saying this isn't the same as that. This is different. These are the exact steps the big businesses use. And she's giving it away for free. This is the smoke clearing, myth busting, barrier blasting masterclass that will hand you the simple, powerful, doable steps you need to go from barely scraping by to paying for your and family's next holiday all by yourself. I love that. I love how specific that last part is in getting you to imagine what your future will be like the other side of this free class. And then this is the call to action section. So for the call to action, what you're looking for is a completely frictionless call to action. And for it to be completely frictionless, first of all, the offer that you're making needs to be an irresistible, easy to say yes. So it's a highly desirable outcome that's being promised. And you can see that it's believable. The solution is believable. You can see there's specific steps involved. You can imagine that the thing that she's promising she's going to give you can deliver the outcome that's being promised. So I would say that's a big check for that, because it is definitely promising something that we all want. And it's not like a 3-page PDF. It's an hour-long masterclass. So it's believable that you could get that outcome by watching that class. The next thing you're looking for a frictionless call to action is that the commitment that's being asked for isn't too great. And all we're being asked for here is to put our name in and an email address. So that's fine. That's easy and comfortable. We are being asked to commit to an event time to sign up to attend it live, which is a slightly bigger commitment. I potentially would combat so people might feel some resistance to that. They might have questions like, I can't make it live. Should I sign up anyway? Will I get a recording? So you could have an FAQ section that overcomes that. Another way around that is to not have anything on the page, but use like retargeted ads for people that come to this page but bounce. They don't fill out the form with their details. You could then retarget them with ads that overcome those particular concerns. So I think the commitment is a slightly higher commitment because she is asking you to show up live. But that seems kind of one that people could still say yes to because it's free. Is it easy for them to do the thing you're asking them to do? Yes, because it's just a box and we just type it in. And then the last thing that you have to check is, does it work? And then the last thing we're looking for is does the form work? So you can design the most amazing page and you can have a really simple, easy call to action that's an easy yes for people. And then so many times I get called in and asked, like, can you help me because this page isn't converting? I don't understand why. And I'll go to the checkout page or I'll try and fill out the email opt-in form and it doesn't work. For all the things that I was looking out for, there was one thing missing from this page, which was an element of social proof. The webinars are brand new. So what Ruth can do is come back to that. And once she's run even the first they're on the same day, so it'll be a bit tight. But once she's run the first webinar, she can come back and get the feedback from that and add it onto this page, so that you can add that element of social proof to help people say yes. But otherwise, this page was a great example of hooking people in right from the start with a very specific, highly desirable outcome. And you're offering a solution, and it's kind of believable that solution is going to get you to that outcome. And then she's tapping into a multiple number of the human engagement triggers, the things that make humans click or buy or take any kind of action you want them to take. And then she's stacked in like that level of specificity, and she's added in some credibility to make the page even more persuasive. And then there absolutely is a frictionless call to action at the end that makes it really easy for the reader to say yes, take action, and move forward in their journey towards working with her.